Big Day, Bubba. I'm
Show 5 days a week.
Say everything's on the mind.
An extra one, and that's how we get the podcast. The podcast.
That's how it
happens.
happens.
Do you love the podcast? The podcast. The podcast. Do you love the podcast?
Let's play that in a little bit. The podcast is brought to you by Pickle Jar. Pickle Jar is like that amazing, amazing friend. Everybody's got one that's like kind of like a music snob, and they know all about all the new music before everybody else. I said that weird.
You said new music.
New music. New music. You can see exclusive pics and videos. Enter to win some flyaway getaway thingies, flyaway getaways.
Thingies, yeah.
And tickets to VIP events. It's pretty great. Pickle Jar is a really cool app. It's free for your iPhone or your Droid. You can tip. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. Get it at picklejar.com.
Patrick, we can't get him a script to read?
For what?
For the Pickle Jar thing?
I mean, he has a script.
Oh, you're reading that?
Oh,
my bad.
He was expounding.
Yes, I was. I did.
Oh, my bad, man.
I was
Stick
all over
to the
place.
script.
That's good. Oh, that was great. That was
I know.
good.
That's been the thing they've been telling me to do forever.
What is she saying?
Ruppel T. We're not real sure what she's saying.
Once upon a time, this lady called us, and we found it. I mean, this is at least 15 years ago. And it's always been one of those little things. We never knew what she said. And we've isolated it. She was like, okay, talk to you later.
Yeah.
Ruppel T. And that was it.
And we're just like,
We didn't know
cool.
it.
All right.
Cool, thanks, bye.
Ruppel T.
And
Ruppel T.
I just so happened to find it the other day in the archives. I'm like, that's a gold, because we say it to each other, not often, but every once in a while, like, well, all right, see you later. All right, Ruppel T. And it just kind of pops up.
We have another we say, peace in your hooters. Why do we say that again?
There was a guy, so back in the old days, we used to belong to this, there was a prep service
Radio
called
Star.
Radio Star, new
Yes.
Radio Star.
All right.
From Bob Hamilton, one of the great, aggregators of morning show comedy and content and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And one of the members of the new Radio Star, it was almost like a board where you shared ideas with each other. One of the members would always sign off with "Peace in your hooters," and we never really understood it. But it was like one of those dumb things that they would write, so we just started saying it.
Bubba still says that at least once a week.
Yeah, peace in your hooters.
Peace in your hooters. I find I say it too. I don't even know why.
Don't even know what that meant.
You still haven't figured it out?
No.
Do you know?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I-
She was hoping we knew.
Yeah, because
That's
There's
weird.
some guy who used to say it, and I mean, I'm sure I can find out.
Radio guys always have some sort of a weird thing. A lot of times, like "see ya." That would be a thing.
Yeah.
They get off their shift like, "All right, Diamond Dave out of here. See ya."
I used to tell people to have a happy.
Have a happy.
Yes, I know.
Have a happy.
happy.
Yeah.
Tracy says keep it between the ditches.
Yeah, boy.
That's the thing. It says at the end of every show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
All right, until next week, keep it between the ditches.
oh, okay.
right, hey.
You got to every week change it to a different cliche.
I would like to do that. I'm gonna do cliches, and then we should have where I just say the wrong cliche, just a little bit off.
Yeah.
All right, we know what they say. Keep her between the trees. What? No, that's not a thing. Nobody says that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think during early on in Little D career, I think I tried to do that because I felt like I needed to. So I would work after the Iceman. He would work Saturdays till like 7:00, and then I would come in and go from 7 to whatever on an oldies station at the age of 16. Yeah, and people would call me and go, "How old are you?" And I was like offended by it. Like, why? What's it matter? Well, because you're talking about music that you don't even know what you're talking about. I'm like, I know what I'm talking about. I didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, he had the Iceman would come in. He drove a Z28, Baba.
Cold as ice.
You're as cold as
And he bounced around radio stations all across Middle Tennessee. He was in Sparta, and this is in Cookeville. And he would, I remember watching him. So like when the commercials are playing, now this has changed quite a bit over the years, but commercials would play, and then when they would play on these little things that look like 8 tracks,
Yeah,
and we
carts.
called them carts, and they would like when one would end, it would fire the next one and another machine right next to it. Do you have? I think we used to have one.
I have a cart machine, but I don't have a cart.
Yeah, we actually have a machine. That's crazy.
I know.
Did you find one?
Don't anymore. Oh, I have the machine. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have two machines?
We have two
Yeah.
cart
Oh
machines.
wow, that's
Bubba,
pretty cool.
those are ours. Bubba and I took those like personally when Jerry House was getting the cart machines out of his studio finally in like
Yeah.
2007 or something.
We were both like,
You were like, yeah, we're getting rid of all the carts. Well, at the time we kept a couple of carts, but I don't know where those are. But I have the machine.
They're in here somewhere. I remember some. But so he would. So the commercials would finish playing, and you had to start the song, or whatever. Usually it's like a jingle that plays at the end of a commercial break, or you're listening to the guy with the big voice, or a girl, whatever, and go into music. And so, but you had to like hit the button on the board for the song to start.
Right.
It activated the CD player, and it would just just button. And he would always like he would like step back away from the board and
Fire it?
yeah, and he'd have his finger and he'd have it in the air like he's about to launch a
gosh.
missle, and when it's time to hit
launches
it.
a missile like that, by the way.
And
No, they don't. No, they don't. This is a little bit like.
Anyway, so yeah, he would do it and he would go hit the button and then like take his arm and make it go back across his other side of his body, and then the song would start, and I would watch it and just go, legend. That's a legend. That's the. I just got to see that. I get to see the Iceman do his thing.
Flair though. I used
I
to do
remember-
that. Remember? I used to,
Yeah,
do, like,
I used to have a little.
Damn, I
Yeah.
was always hit it real hard.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I used to bust. I think used to bust the
Those
things.
little plastic
Back in
covers
the
on the
day.
buttons. Yeah.
I remember Gordon, who used to do the Saturday Night 70s show.
I remember Gordon.
Oh man! And then, so when I first got to the radio station group we were at in Baton Rouge, Gordon was like he worked the same shift I did on the weekends. He was just really really nice guy.
Yeah.
Like a lot of old radio guys are like mean to the 18-year-old kid. And Gordon was like, "No, come in here, kid. Let me tell you stories." And he did, but he played his music off CD because he was playing all these old like obscure 70s songs of the Saturday Night 70s show. And I
I'd
remember
listen
him.
to that, by the way.
He would did the same thing. He would hit the thing and he would go, slam his mic off and throw his headphones back and turn the monitor up. Like it was literally like watching Dr. Johnny Fever in
Therapy.
real life. He was that guy. It was so
I
much fun
remember
to watch.
watching the afternoon guy do that at my first station, and I thought, oh, maybe I'm not in the right place because I wasn't gonna do that, and I thought maybe I guess I'm doing radio wrong, or I shouldn't be in radio because I wasn't gonna be, because he was that guy that
Yeah.
was going
Oh, yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And like, all right, it's coming up. I only have 30 seconds in this commercial. Gotta take a phone call. Gotta edit that, and then we're gonna run this. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm a 20-year-old college kid, and I just drove 45 minutes to push a button. I'm not this excited.
And we got into morning. I moved to mornings, and in morning drive, you don't listen to the music because there's so much else going on. We're always there's phone call or this or that, and we're getting ready for the next thing. See, we don't really listen to the middle of the songs, just the beginning and the end.
The only time I ever hear the middle of the song is whenever I'm driving in the car, leaving work,
Yeah.
or going to wherever. Then I'm actually listening to the radio
Yeah.
station. I'm like, oh, that's what that song sounds
If
like.
I go to the kitchen or to the bathroom and it's on in the hall, I hear it. But otherwise, if we're in here, we're not listening. But no, man, when I was working at night, that was it. It was like, you hit that button and crank that thing up and just
And
jam
rip
out.
the knob
Yeah.
off.
So the guy's name, the Peace in Your Hooters guy, was Storm Roberts.
Storm Rob in Ocala, Florida.
Yeah, Ocala, Gainesville, yeah.
Yeah.
You found
he
him?
retired. Yeah, he retired. I was looking. He retired after 35 years in Gainesville radio, and he had a 51-year radio career.
Wow.
Props to you, Storm.
Can you message him and find out what that meant?
I'm trying.
Seriously.
So if I was on LinkedIn, I might be able to, but I don't have a LinkedIn.
Send me his name. I'll look him up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me tell you right now,
Storm.
I want to believe that it's just something he said by accident one day and then it stuck. Kind of like how we still say FIY instead of FYI.
Yeah.
Because somebody typed that by
FYI.
accident. And we still say it wrong.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things like that just...
Little stories that
Little
are.
stories. We got an email from this guy one time that was it had the most typos. I still have it. and it's the most typos I've
Why-
ever seen in one.
Why
in
is
one
that
letter.
not in a frame?
It needs
in our
to be
Stall of
framed in the
Fame?
Stall of Fame. It does. I'm going to print it out and get that
The
framed.
Stall of Fame, in case
Oh.
you are new to the
It's
podcast.
so many. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's where we put stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have a bunch of art up on the walls. We have some Big D and Bubba signs. We have the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studio sign. We have different signs around, but it's mainly just stuff that we have to have up. As far as personal effects, none of that is anywhere on the walls. We don't have just random art, random whatever. It's all in the Stall of Fame. We have one stall in our bathroom, and it's decorated with all the high
All the
and low lights of our
plaques that have
career.
been sent to us, and there's gold records and stuff that people have given us. It's all hanging in the Stall of Fame, and I'm going to get this framed so we can hang it in there because all the spelling and grammar mistakes all throughout this thing, like a monkey had written it, just amazing. Okay, and then it get to the very end, and he misspelled FYI with the actual saying FYI. Is just the 3 letters. Like, how do you misspell that? No, he did. FIY.
Yeah.
And we still say FIY.
Still say it to this
Still
day.
say it to this day. That was 2005, because it was about Ruppel T. Ruppel T.
FIY.
FIY.
Oh my gosh, man! Like it's so funny because you don't know if that was that like his autocorrect, because you know how your autocorrect starts to learn the way you
Oh.
do things. Like I have certain words that every single time I type them, it makes it all caps or whatever. So it
Yes.
corrects your things to your phone to your habits, and it's so annoying. But I wonder if maybe his autocorrect, because he did it wrong so many times.
Boy, don't you want to believe that his
corrects him.
autocorrect was FIY?
I
Oh,
do.
gosh,
I
I
want-
mean, mine is now, because if I type FIY every time.
Yeah,
And so it's like, I don't know what that means, but this one guy says it, so let's go with it.
yeah.
For information,
For
your
information,
Yeah, yeah. The bad thing about the autocorrect thing on your phone is I would like to reset it and then kind of let it do it again. Kind
Yeah.
of relearn and stuff, because there are things where I misspelled. I had them misspelled, and so now it pops up, and I'm like, I think that's right. Is that
you
it?
don't really know.
I'm not real sure, and because I don't know how to spell things, I got worse over time because it would. You mean this?
Well, not
oh
only
yeah.
that, because whenever you're spelling something on your phone, you're typing with your hands, and all of a sudden you get to that word that you don't know. You hit the little button, it goes ding, and you go protagonist.
Oh yeah, I
And
whisper
it'll
it because
spell
I'm
it for you.
so embarrassed.
Have you ever, though, started to type in a word hoping it would autocorrect for you?
Yo, it's
And even autocorrect can't recognize what you're trying to do.
Well, that's why you do it by
me.
voice. That's why you do it by voice, which, by the way, seems to have gotten worse.
Yeah, voice texting used to be
Oh.
great. So Google voice texting was amazing, and now the new Samsung voice texting is.
Oh, it puts
Same.
periods and weird
Same.
It
places.
puts
Yes.
the word period. Like, I'm never saying the word period. I am trying to get you to put a period at the end of this sentence. But it got so smart that it's supposed to just catch your inflection.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is we all talk like Bubba when we're texting. We
There's pauses.
talk with
You
these weird pauses and you
over-enunciate
over enunciate. So it's putting commas
Yeah.
and periods where they don't belong because it's listening for it. So now it's so smart. It wants you to just talk like you talk.
And then
No,
when I
I'm
go
not, that's
into
not how I
edit,
talk text.
I go to move the cursor on my phone, and it'll decide that that word deserves some sort of weird picture emoji.
Mm.
And I'm like, no, I don't want the emoji. I don't need a flower popping up there, and you can't get into the word.
Yeah.
And yet I
On
know
your
first
droids, how do you move the cursor around?
your thumb.
With your thumb.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting because, like, on ours, it's you hit it onto the. Isn't it the space bar?
Yeah, if you
And
hold
then-
it,
and then
then you can move
drag
it.
it around.
Yeah. I know. As much as I am an iPhone guy, I do hear people talk about how that Androids are better.
But they are the same people who would never use an iPhone. Just like an iPhone person usually will say iPhones are better because they've tried a droid. Dude, I've tried droids.
Y'all, we
I
had
had
somebody
BlackBerry.
we had somebody come to the studio yesterday, and she needed me to reply to a text to someone, and she goes here, and she hands me her iPhone, and I'm like, I couldn't even type a text. I didn't even know what to do.
That's-
I had no
I don't
idea.
have a clue.
Once you get used to whatever the operating system is that you're on, that's the one
That's
that's
what you're on.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I just after a while, everyone says, "Whoa, iPhones are just now doing that. We've been doing that for years." And I hear that a lot.
But how many times, and we've actually done stuff where Patrick gets an update and he can do something, and we're like, oh, we've been doing that for years. There are certain things that each one of the, I mean, I
guess
can
so.
go back to WebOS, which is bought by LG, and it's now basically just an operating system for smart TVs. But once upon a time, WebOS was the absolute best phone operating system you ever could have put your fingers on. It was amazing. It was so far ahead of Droid and iPhone that I wouldn't go to Droid or iPhones, even though I had one. I had a BlackBerry for a while, I got whatever, but I kept going back to WebOS. I'm like, this is so amazing. And then over the years, WebOS went away. It was bought by HP and all kinds of stuff. It went away, and Android and iPhone copied a lot of the stuff, like where you have the different cards up, like the different pages, and you can swipe stuff off, and that was all WebOS.
Yeah.
And none of the other ones would do that back in the day. So,
There it is. I was waiting for you to say, back in the day. You got it in
in the
there.
day.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. We had the Palm.
Yeah.
Palms that we had back in the day.
Palm Trios
I
and
remember the
Handspring
Trio.
All turned into
Handspring,
WebOS,
yeah.
and then they sold it to HP, and HP just ruined it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we didn't have phone. It was just a PDA, personal digital assistant.
Yeah.
And so it looked just like a phone today. Really, very similar.
The Trio 90.
But there was nothing. All you could do was it had a calendar, and you could check email. That was a big one. Being able to check email on your phone.
Before text messaging, we used to be able to beam. So we would be sitting, it would have these
Best.
little infrared receiver and transmitters, like a remote control you would use for your TV. And it was line of sight. And so we'd be in a meeting, and Big D is sitting on the other table, and I'm sitting on the other side of the table. I'm sitting on this one, and we would beam messages to each other.
Just
talking
exactly
about
what you
whatever.
think it is.
Yep.
But it's like the way we text now, but it was before, I mean, right before text. Text came pretty quickly afterwards.
But no one knew. No one used that. Like we were doing that. That was like.
We would lie. We're like, we're not, whatever. We're taking notes. Oh, okay.
Well, and honestly, as advanced, that stuff was so advanced that if you called, at least I worked at Verizon Wireless at the time, and if you called and you needed tech support with that, you couldn't talk to a regular customer service rep. I could talk to you about your Nokia, I could talk to you about whatever other kind of phone, but you had one of those, I had to immediately hand you off to a separate department because
we were very high tech.
you were.
Did you when you worked there? Did they really love you because you're partly because of your voice?
I mean, maybe. Yeah, it was partially my voice, but also because at least I sounded, I guess, like I knew what I was talking about, because I was part-time in radio, so I could spin things as I needed to while I was trying to look up whatever it is that's wrong with your phone, and I don't know what happened to the network, but I could spitball.
Yeah.
And so they really liked that.
You know what I would like? Okay, so we talked about it on the show how Carson is now doing voiceover work, and she's doing commercials mainly for like banks and financial
Yeah.
institutions and all of that. I think it would be really cool if you got, it was Verizon you worked for? Wouldn't it be cool if we could like get Carson to do the Verizon commercial
Yeah, full
for
circle.
TV? That
Yeah.
would be like awesome. You would.
Do you want to know the bane of my existence?
What is the bane?
Is that it was over a decade ago. I'm watching a Verizon commercial, and there's a male voice on there, and I'm like, who is this guy? I know this guy. It takes me the better part of 50. They had hired Vanderbeek.
James
He
Vanderbeek.
was their voiceover guy
What?
for like 3
Oh.
days.
I can't believe
I was livid.
Do you have Verizon?
Yeah, because I'm an employee. So
no, I mean
get-
now.
Yeah,
I
because
can't
I'm
believe
still
you
on the-
still support them.
Because I'm still
No,
on the employee, because it's still a lot cheaper. But
Wait,
yeah.
you're still on the Verizon employee
Employee
plan?
Yeah. And yes.
How
So-
long has it been since you worked for them?
Well, I mean, technically my mom was there too, so I'm on her plan. But
Wow.
Golly, that's a pretty tight ship they're running over there.
Yeah.
So yeah, but when I'm like, oh my, and I think I posted about it on Facebook that like now it's personal. He's taking my job. I was so angry, and he didn't last long, but still, he probably got a nice payday. And now
Yeah,
they
I would
have-
think that would pay pretty well.
Yeah, because they've got some girl from SNL now is on there.
Do you want another
Doing-
hit?
yeah.
The Dirk Bentley show.
No, I don't.
This morning?
I do not.
Chris
It
Bentley
is.
was so
Oh,
great.
it still
And
smells good though.
It
again,
does smell good.
Yeah, we had a little celebration with some alcohol in the studio with Dirk Bentley today, and like we said, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can't see this yet. But actually, you can watch the Dierks Bentley interview,
Yeah.
and you can see it
It's
there.
probably right next to this one. You click over the thing, it's right there.
Probably, but for those of you who are listening on the podcast, you'll be able to hear that in just a little bit. I also think it is so crazy the way this worked out. Like, I almost think it's bizarre, and I don't think we'll ever do this again. Today is April 28th.
Oh, yeah.
It is 4/28, right?
Mm-hmm.
We are doing episode 428. Now, we only do our podcast on Fridays.
Right.
So every Friday it's a different number. So next week it'll be 429. We are doing episode 428 on 428. That is trippy.
I mean, it's a coincidence, but it's a nice coincidence.
It's an interesting.
It's a very interesting
Yeah.
one because next podcast is going to be very different because next podcast is going to be, all we can say is this. An announcement will be made this coming week that one of us is leaving the show. It could be Carson, it could be Patrick, it could be myself, it could be Big D. I'm not going to go into it any more than that. I'm just saying. So next week we will address all of that on the podcast, which is wild that,
It's like
here
a
we
soap
are.
opera.
I know.
One of these
Yeah.
people will be dead
Dun,
by the
dun.
end of this episode.
No, I know, but it's still it's crazy to think about it. And so here we are. We have this very coincidental
does that have to do
428
with
on
that?
428. And it's
Why alliteration, man? And that's how you know the stars aligned. So that episode 428 was on 428 while Jupiter was in line with Venus. It was a thing.
All
I'm
right.
like, all right.
What
Well,
is
there
in
are
line
4
with that?
letters.
And on that note, let's get drunk with Dierks Bentley.
Well, I just think it's
This
really
was
crazy.
the podcast.
I know you're ready to get out, but
Damn, it's late. It's been a
2
long
and 8
day.
equal 10. Plus 4 is 14.
14.
1 plus
And that's
4
it.
is 5. Leave has 5 letters.
That's right. And somebody's leaving.
That reminds me of the Pee Wee Herman line. Remember he does the whole thing. What does and he does a Venus is aligned with Mercury and so. Whoa, what does it mean? I don't know.
oh, that's when he was
The
doing
meeting.
PowerPoint type thing. Yes.
But Pee Wee, we've been here for hours and we don't know anything else. That was so great. That's one of the
I have
best
not
movies.
watched Pee Wee's Big Adventure in forever.
I haven't either.
Oh, it's
one
so
of those I need to revisit, I guess.
Large Marge used to freak me out when I was a
Oh,
little
man,
kid.
yeah.
Large Marge scared me.
Scared
I
me.
would every time because I knew it was always coming. When he was in the thing, and I'd be like,
I would too. I'd hide my eyes.
"Isn't that
Yeah.
weird?" And then
I think if I was watching it right now, I would probably hide my
I think I
eyes.
would too.
Large Marge.
I want to see what Large Marge. I'm googling Large Marge right now. I want to see what
The
she
actress?
looks like. No. I just want to see what Large Marge looks like as a because that was before CGI.
Yeah, because it was almost claymation.
Yeah, it
Wasn't
was.
it?
It reminded me
Goodness.
kind of the way they did the Nazis melting in
Oh yeah.
Indiana Jones. Remember that?
Dude,
It was
this
like
is- Large
It was-
Marge looks like that prawn, the shrimp from the Muppets. Like Carson's laughing because
It is.
I'm looking at her, and she looks like
What's his name? The little
Pepe the Prawn. Pepe the
Pepe
Prawn.
the Prawn.
Yeah,
I gotta look that up. Pepe
Yeah.
Le Prawn.
yeah, or Pepe Prawn or something like that. Yeah,
Wow.
well, that's Large Marge.
Oh, sorry.
Am I holding it right?
Yeah, you got it.
AJ, yeah. All right.
All right, are we done now?
Yes, now we're done.
So yes,
That's the
429 is
podcast.
gonna be a
Now
weird
it's over.
podcast.
Apple Tea. That's a podcast. That's so very
FIY. Listen to the regular show on the radio every day.